Right, so the Sharks played the LA Kings and lost by a final score of 5-2. The Sharks debuted their brand new reverse retro uniforms, as you can see, sort of sporting that look. I don't quite have my jersey yet, but I will have it soon, and I love these uniforms that the Sharks just came out with. Got my jacket and hat, so good enough for now. But yeah, the Sharks, despite looking really good on the ice, playing wise, did not play super well. Reimer allowed 4 goals, and then they got an empty netter for the Kings. Reimer had sort of a down game. 2 goals he allowed were in the 5-hole. And yeah, the Kings capitalized pretty early in the game. The Sharks did put up a pretty good fight. But, of course, it just wasn't enough. That's been a common theme. Good fight from the Sharks, it just isn't enough. So, yeah, LA opened up scoring about midway through the first period with a Jarrett Anderson-Dolan goal, and that was sort of an interesting play where the Sharks defense was kind of just split there, and very good passing from LA set up the goal. And it just went past Reimer. He's got to get that one, but it's whatever. Then about 5 minutes later, though, the Sharks tie up the game with a Kevin Labanc goal. Really good to see him scoring there, and that tied up the game for the Sharks. Good play by them. And it was a good shot from Labanc. He centered it up and it went in. So it was a good goal from him. Then, though, for the Kings, 2 minutes left in the first period on the power play nearing the end of it, Philip Denault scores for the Kings, and that makes it 2-1. We go to the second period where the Kings extend their lead to 2 goals with a Victor Arvidsson goal, and it was a 1-on-2 in favor of the Sharks. Actually, they had 2 defenders on him, but that was just a very strong shot, and Reimer couldn't save it. So yeah, then moving along, the Sharks cut the lead down to just 1 with less than a minute left in the second period with an Alexander Barabanov goal, and so that made it 3-2. And then we go to the third period where the rest of the game's just LA. Rasmus Kapari scores pretty early on, 3 minutes into the period, and then they get an empty net from Anze Kopitar, and so the LA Kings won 5-2. Of course, these two teams, division rivals. Sharks have had a couple of division matchups as of late. Of course, Seattle Kraken the other day. But yeah, looking at the standings, the Kings are a pretty good team this year. They were a very good team last year. They move up in the standings, in their position. And so the top 3 in the Pacific, Vegas, Seattle, and LA, all kind of close together in terms of standings. But the Sharks still remain tied with the Canucks for 7th place. And so, these divisional games is what really defines the standings in a lot of ways for the Sharks. The Sharks have a division that's not super strong, but they just cannot win against these teams. And so, yeah, another example of that. I think Reimer had probably one of his worst games I've seen as of late. No hate to Reimer, he's a great goalie, but I feel like, I don't know if it was illness he recently had or injury, but he just looked kind of down in this game. He probably allowed some goals that he, wanted to have back, probably could have saved. He's still a great goaltender, but I think the Sharks defense, in conjunction with maybe not the best performance, hurt them. And so, yeah, it's whatever. The Sharks are going to play the Canucks. Like I said, 2 teams struggling right now. It'll be a home game for the Sharks, and so they'll have an off day and then playing them, and then they'll go on a little Canada road trip playing the Canadiens, Maple Leafs, and Senators. And so that should be interesting. We played well against the Canadian teams to open up the year last season, so we'll see what happens there. But anyways, good to see the Sharks wearing the reverse retro uniforms and basically playing as the Seals. But yeah, just not a good game for them in terms of on-ice play. So let me know your thoughts. I'll see you guys later. And yeah, go Sharks.